All right, guys. Now that you launch your campaign, the next step is to push your advertising campaign to the next level of testing and further optimization. Because at some point, what you have in place, it's going to tank. And what you have basically is just testing the audience and targeting and testing the copy. It's not even close to being done. Um, But for you to be able to optimize, do more testing, you need to understand the metrics, the KPI, and basically what dictates the performance of your campaign. What basically dictates if a creative is good or bad, if a copy is good or bad. To do that, we need to analyze the data, okay? And we need to analyze the data in all the levels. So allow me to bring up an ad account and kind of run you through the metrics and everything live. So in our backup account, you're going to see there are two active campaigns at the moment, right? If I want to analyze if my lead generation campaign that I'm running on top, it's doing well or not, I need to analyze the data in campaign level, in ad set level, and in ad level, okay? So what I would like to do is to first understand, am I generating result or not? So one of the first metrics that we normally look at is the results. It seems like we're getting results. So we have 16 leads, which is good. It might be different from the objective that we previously launched for you on the previous lessons, but it's just a matter of kind of explaining to you what metrics are valid and not, and how to kind of read the data at this point. After understanding the result, guys, if the number of results are satisfactory or not, we gotta look into the cost per result. Okay, so the CPL at this point, because the result here are leads. So the number of leads and the CPL pretty much dictates the overall well-being of your campaign. But it doesn't really show me more than that, right? I have 3 ad sets basically in this campaign, and like under each ad set, I have 3 ads, right? You remember how we set this up? So what I need to do is to go one step further on the ad set level. When I go there, don't get overwhelmed with all that. Obviously, this campaign has been optimized multiple times. So don't look at what we have here. Okay, I'm gonna make it a bit simpler. So 2 ad sets, right? If you want to read the metrics, you have to make sure the column is performance and clicks. And like the way that we read some data on the campaign level, the first thing I'm looking at is the number of leads and the cost per lead here. They're pretty they're fighting, against each other pretty evenly. So I know they both are doing well. So I'm scrolling to the right, and when you click the performance and clicks, you're gonna have some metrics here, guys. I will ignore all these metrics like click all, CTR all, and CPC all, and I'm only paying attention to the unique metrics here. Okay, we have CPM, we have link clicks, and we have CPC and CTR. These are the 4 metrics that I look at beside the main CPL and number of leads, okay, to kind of assess the well-being of my ads. Okay, so here when I look at it, obviously I have some benchmark which I'm going to run you through. I can get an idea of what needs to be optimized, what might be the bottleneck. All right, we're going to do the same thing for ads. So under this ad set, there are 2 ads, right? So I'm doing the same thing. Again, like they're even. It's very strange. They're both even. Okay, the cost per leads are decent for both of them. You're going to see like the CPM, the link clicks, the CPC, and CTR are also quite decent. So I'm going to read this data. But the question is, what do these metrics mean? And what are the benchmarks for it, right? So basically, your CPL and number of results normally dictate the overall health of your campaign. Okay, ad sets and ads. The cost per impression, this will dictate how effective your targeting is and whether your ad is what the target market wants to see. So if you potentially put a offer out there for like gym owners to get them leads and target mortgage broker, then your CPM will be extremely high because they're not related, right? The targeting is wrong. The offer is wrong for that targeting. So it's kind of like show the relevancy because as you know, we pay per impression in Facebook. Okay. So it's kind of like how effective your ad is to stop somebody from a score. The number of clicks and cost per click here is going to dictate how effective your creatives are and headlines are to push somebody to read your copy. And when we go to CTR, that's the metric that shows how effective your copy is because they're going to go through the next step. So when you understand what metrics are important and what they actually mean, then you can analyze the basic of the performance of the front end ads. But we're not going to end up only assessing the front end ads. We have a funnel on the back end. So the next thing we can do is to go to the funnel, okay, which I'm going to bring up now. So you're going to go to one of your funnels, for example. I'm going to bring a random funnel up. Yeah. When you come to the funnel, obviously you have different pages, but then you have to assess the backend data. So you're going to click on a stats. When you click on the stats, there is a time frame here, and it's going to show you how many landing page views you got, how much of it is kind of like opted in, how many people they actually watch your video or like went to the next stage in your calendar page and booked, how many people landed on your thank you page. So it kind of understands that, okay, so I have some data on the landing page. If my front end ads are working, I have to come here and like analyze their stats and see, okay, I had like 363 landing pages and 211 of them converted. So 60% conversion rate. Good. So we don't have any problem on this step. Next step, there's 302, 76 converted, 34. Not bad for this funnel. But the next one is, my booking ratio is low. 71 landing and only 5 booked. So what I need to do is to go to the calendar page and optimize the calendar page. Because my customer journey before the calendar page is working. So the issue is with the calendar page. Maybe I should simplify it. Maybe I should go through my calendar and see if it's even working. Maybe I don't have enough availabilities. Maybe I have to put more social proof on the calendar page to make it more enticing for people to book. So reading this data will help you to diagnose where the problem is coming from. Or not even problem, where is the opportunity for me to optimize and make the campaign better. Because remember, the moment you stop testing, you're going to end up poor. Okay, that's kind of like a rule of thumb in Facebook advertising. You're never going to stop testing because what it's working, it's going to tank, guys. It's not going to be for everything. The difference between social media ads and like Google ads or like SEO and stuff is that Facebook ads needs consistent testing. That's why we have a rule of thumb of 4 days. Every 4 days, we have to have a look at the Facebook ads and see like what we can do to make it better. So to kind of like understand how the data and metrics work, and if you kind of want the reference point, I put like a KPI sheet here, which you can have a look. We have for 3 different conversions, guys, for messenger ad, for lead form, and landing page runs. If you are launching your minimal friction funnel, this is the benchmark you want to aim for. Okay, so top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, different metrics to kind of chase in terms of CTR. This is what you have to aim for. In terms of the cost per click, cost per lead, cost per acquisition, and CPM. These are the metrics I want you to look at. And kind of like have something as a reference point. However, a massive disclaimer is this. This is just something that we came up throughout like I don't know, hundreds of campaigns. But something you need to pay attention to is maybe the market that you're going after is going to be a lot more competitive as the average industry benchmark, that your CPM will be like 40, 50, but you're still generating leads. So what you need to do is to have this as a reference point, but have your own KPI sheet based on the markets you're going after, because every market will have a different and a specific benchmark. This is just a reference point as a general industry benchmark. So hope that helps, guys, to kind of like understand what metrics to track and why we track them and how we track them. On the next lesson, we're gonna enter the next round of testing and more optimization.